Initially, I refused to watch Fatherhood. I have a rule that unless there's a very good reason for it, I will not watch a film that sounds like it's going to make me cry. I do not like emotional films because I watch films to escape reality rather than being reminded that life is difficult. But finally, I just decided let's go for it. And I am so glad that I did. This film is incredible and one of the most powerful films I've seen, not just of this year, but in a long time. This was actually released this year in 2021, released on Netflix, directed by Paul Weitz, and stars Kevin Hart as our protagonist, Matt. And unfortunately, Matt's wife dies not in childbirth, but I think the day after their young daughter is born. And to begin with, it's all about Matt spending time with Maddy, the baby's grandparents, actually, and trying to cope with being a new father while grieving for the loss of his wife. And right up until Maddy is a toddler, it's pretty depressing. I'd say the film's an hour and 50 minutes. I just off the top of my head, I'd say the first maybe 40 minutes takes us up until she's a toddler. But then we have Maddy as a young child of school age, played by Melody Hurd, and she is ridiculous. She is amazing. Her performance was fantastic. She was thoroughly enjoyable, full of sass. Her comedic timing was perfection. Her movement was brilliant. I just found her so encapsulating, absolutely fantastic. Captivating is the word I was looking for. And I'm not saying that it stops being emotional once the child is older, but the comedy does come into it there, and most of the comedy does come from Maddy. And as I said, Melody Hurd's comedic timing is absolutely fantastic. Her on-screen rapport with Kevin Hart is just brilliant and an absolute joy to watch. But there are times when both Maddy and Matt are reminded of this absence of Liz, Maddy's mother, and it does make you kind of choke up a bit. And it's real. It is one of the most real films I've ever seen, and I won't spoil it, but Matt makes a decision for Maddy's benefit that's not something I had expected from this film, and it involves an opportunity he has with work. And I can't say any more than that. It happens quite late on in the film, but I hadn't expected that. But it's so realistic and happens a lot with single parents having to juggle everything in their life. And this is definitely one of the most realistic interpretations of single parenthood I have ever seen in any film ever. And I just feel like Kevin Hart does an absolutely fantastic job of delivering this utterly emotional roller coaster ride. And Maddy as a character is so easy to like. She's so likable, but she's real as well. There's just one point where she says she doesn't want to meet anybody new that day, even though her father had said they were going to meet somebody new. She's not this perfect little angel. She's very realistic. She's very sassy, but she's also looking for this mother that she doesn't have. And it's just an absolute journey and an absolute honor to watch this. It is one of the most beautiful creations I've ever seen because of how honest it is and how real it is. It's the perfect blend of humor and reality. Well, there is humor in reality, but of the emotions that we can't escape in reality. There are some really fantastic scenes that are just designed for comedic relief, and there are scenes that are designed to be heartfelt, and then there are those that carry both, because sometimes you can have negative emotions betwixt humour as well, because humour is what makes us get through the dark times. And I just think it blends everything together perfectly. It is moving, poignant, powerful, fantastically performed, very well written. I'm so glad I finally found that I was in the right headspace to watch this without just crying all the way through it. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm glad I gave it a chance Fatherhood is one of the most powerful films this year.